Live. Hello. Hello. Anyone here? Nope. Welcome to the new Dysfunctional Gaming Twitch.
Hi.
I'm DM Thundercat. This is GM Patch Nasty.
Hello.
And we're going to talk some D&D.
What the D&D?
You're now watching Dysfunctional Gaming talking D&D. What's up? So, each week, we'll be talking about different aspects of Dungeons & Dragons. We'll rotate each week between player information and Dungeon Master info. So this will be like an all-around type of podcast, talk show, if you will.
Basis.
So yeah, that's what our plan is. This week we'll be starting with player info. We plan on creating a campaign as we go. This campaign will be more of a story we create with you, the viewers, and also our followers on Twitter. So the story will be an overarching project created throughout the rest of the season. We want to kind of just make it as we go and have fun with it. So if you want to, please head over to our Twitter at Dysfunct Game. That's DYSFUNCT Game, and give us a follow and answer the questions we ask throughout the week, and we'll be able to put some stuff on a board for you.
There's a T. It just changed today.
Oh, you changed it?
Yeah, I changed it today for ease, and then I did not realize that we had that. So it's actually at Dysfunct that's DYSFUNC Game TTV.
Dysfunct Game TTV without the T.
Yes, Dysfunct. Okay. I'm gonna put it in the chat as well.
All right, awesome.
Hi, Thundercat.
Hello.
Boom. There you go.
Cool. So yeah, let's get into it. Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself first and give us a little just background info on your D&D?
Like, my lore on D&D? Sure.
Your history, yes.
I've been playing D&D for most of my life. I would say adult life, but let's just stretch it. It started when I was like a teenager, as most people get. I've played a lot of D&D. I do like to play the occasional other tabletop game. Like we played Ghostbusters once, and that was kind of fun because it's more of a rule of fun game, as D&D is, but it's just D6. I've been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons for a very long time. Most recently with that guy over there. Am I pointing the right way? Because it's all...
Yeah, you got me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, we've been playing for a lot, and the big reason Thunder kind of approached me is like, you want to do this? And I was like, sure. It kind of makes it easier for people to like know who plays D&D and get people together who want to play D&D, which is the hardest part about fucking playing D&D is getting people together.
Agree. Yeah. I just shut us off. I meant to lock us in. So my background is actually very more recent. I started with 5e. So 5e is the newest edition. It's been out, but like almost 9 years, maybe 10 now. It was, if 10 years. So, but I've only been playing for maybe 6 years. I think we've been five and a half now. So, but with that, I kind of got into it because I was listening to a lot of podcasts about like stories and stuff. And then I got into it because they were making stories and I liked it. And that's where I am now. Now I DM a game and I've DM'd multiple games now. And I've also played in multiple games and I've just fallen into it. And just my love for the game has really like made me much more of a nerd, I guess. I've really just like fallen into the game.
Not gonna lie, there have been moments where you send me like messages at like fucking 2:00 in the morning, be like, dude, this is a great idea. I'm like, it's 2:00 in the morning. I get your enthusiasm. I love it.
Doesn't matter. I love
Go to
it.
bed.
You love it too. All right, so let's get into the meat of the podcast here and get into some character building. In a nutshell, what do we need to go over a few basic things before we actually build a character. What is your open your player handbook to page, but what is our initial build for today?
Our initial build for today, we're gonna build a warlock. Is what we're gonna do. Since we're building a story on D&D, I felt as though I love the trope of the unrequited hero, like the one who doesn't like hears that call from an unknown source and then has to search out certain things. And the warlock certainly fits that. However, you can hand your DM a loaded gun with a warlock, but that's another story for another episode.
Yes. So if you're new to D&D, you don't have the player's handbook. Well, we have them here with us, obviously, but you can get like the basic rule set on dnd.com, and they also have D&D Beyond if you don't want to buy the hard copies. But today,
to be honest with you, they give you like the very, very vanilla. Like they'll give you a champion fighter. They'll give you that.
Right.
Like that was free during COVID. So
right. So so with that, in the player's handbook, you would, when you're creating a character, you're gonna want to pick a race. You're gonna want to pick the class and a background, and that's basically the start and the finish of your character creation. There's a lot of like intricate things that go along with that, which we can talk about. But basically, to the brass tacks, it's race, class, background. And the rest is kind of
there's a little
extra.
bit more towards the end. There's step 4, which is probably one of my favorite things to do, is to describe your character, which kind of gets you in the mindset to like get to start being descriptive. But I'll cover more on that when we start getting into like the history of our player character creations. So
correct. Okay. Cool. So let's start with ability score, which is one of those weird things. Let's just talk about it and
numbers.
Yeah, and it's one of the more confusing things in the beginning of the player's handbook, and this is one of the issues that I remember having when I first made my character for our campaign for Tonanaz. I mean, not for Tonanaz, for the Moash, the cleric. When I was making my first ever character, I didn't know what I was doing, and these ability scores were really confusing to me at first. Let's just go over like as quickly and as easily as possible for new players what ability scores really are.
All right. So first, you have strength, which it describes your natural athleticism and bodily power. Barbarians, fighters, paladins are usually your atypical strength builds. In there, you also have it tells you what gets your racial traits, which will affect pluses when you get to it. Like mountain dwarfs get a +2, dragonborn get a +2, half orcs get a +2, humans, which are probably the easiest race to start off with. Like if you're making a character and you don't want to like go into in depth, humans get a +1 to everything. It's simple. It's easy, it's quick.
Yep. All right. So, and then the next one would be dexterity. Dexterity measures your physical agility, reflexes, balance, poise. It's important for the monk, ranger, and rogue classes. Your increases for races, you get a +2 for an elf. You get a +2 as a halfling, a +1 as a forest gnome, and a +1 as a human. Once again, the human getting +1 to each stat. Next stat?
That'd be Constitution. That would be your health, your stamina, and your vital force. This is important for everybody. This determines your hit points. This is makes it so you don't die. Wizards, typically, you kind of want to have at least a mediocre con, because you're going to be a glass cannon. You're going to do a lot of damage, but once something gets up in your grill, it's going to hurt. Dwarves, naturally constitutional. Stout halflings, rock gnomes, half-orcs, and humans are, once again, get your pluses.
But it looks like dwarf's the only one that gets a +2 to it. The rest only get +1s because the dwarfs are very hardy.
It explains a lot why they drink a bunch.
The next up is intelligence. Intelligence measures your mental acuity, your information recall, and your analytical skills. It's most important for the wizard. Your racial increases are half-elf +1, tiefling +1, human +1, and gnome +2.
On the flip side of knowing how to do something, you have wisdom, which is knowing why you shouldn't do something. It's for your awareness, your intuition, and your insight. That's a fun word to say.
True statement.
Yep. It's important for your clerics and your druids. Nobody gets a +2 to their wisdom. Not a single race in the vanilla PHB. Hill dwarves, wood elves, and humans all get a +1.
And finally, to round out the end of your ability scores, your ability charisma is measures your confidence, your eloquence, and leadership. It's important for your bard, sorcerer, and our character who will be building the warlock. Charisma, half-elves get +2, tieflings get +2, and then dragonborns, drow, lightfoot halflings, and humans get +1. Now, when we say +2 or +1, what do those pluses go to?
Those pluses go to the ability scores themselves. So your ability scores give you a modifier. So let's say you have a 1 intelligence. That's a -5 to your intelligence. To put that into layman's terms, you can't talk. You don't understand anything. You are a vegetable. To put it on the flip side, a person with a 30 int score would have a +10 to their modifier, which is almost godlike in D&D. So typically things that would have like a high intelligence score are super smart, super cunning, super aware of their surroundings. I think the only thing that I know that has a really high
basically what you're saying is the ability scores, the higher, the more modifier you get. And so if you have a high strength score, you're probably a lot stronger than people.
Correct.
If you have a high constitution, you're probably able to take on poisons and stuff a little bit better. Now, that modifier, how does that work when you're playing D&D?
It works into a variable of ways. So certain skills, like let's use the easiest ones because it's in their wording. So let's say strength. There's a skill called athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have a strength of 15. You naturally have a +2. If you're also proficient, which means let's say you're a runner, or something like a sports player along those lines. You would be proficient in it, so you'd get an additional bonus. As a level 1 character, it's a +2. So when you roll your nice, wonderful D20 and roll it, I instead, if I was proficient in athletics, would have gotten a 15 or a 17. If I was not, I would have gotten a 15.
Okay.
It all changes that little itty bit.
So now you're saying you're proficient in something.
Mm-hmm.
Do we go over that real quick?
Might as well. It goes into your background and your class. Your background will give you proficiencies, which we'll cover more in that, because your background just gives you things, while when you pick your class, you have options.
You have choices.
You can pick between sometimes 2 or 3 choices.
Skills.
Like I think the Warlock offhand is Persuasion, Deception, a lot of charisma-based ones, and then Insight.
Okay, let's talk about proficiency now. Now, if you have proficiency in, we'll say, persuasion, you get your ability score modifier plus your proficiency bonus, right?
Correct.
So, what's the proficiency bonus actually like measure?
Proficiency bonus?
Yeah.
It measures like attacks with like it attacks with weapons that you are proficient with or aren't proficient with.
So it means like you're better with. So your character's just proficient in a hammer, which means he's good at using a hammer for a weapon.
Correct.
And so because he's better at using a hammer rather than a sword, if he used a sword, he wouldn't get his proficiency bonus because he's not good with the sword, but he's grown up using a hammer as a weapon.
Correct. There are certain classes though that will generalize things like light.
I understand. I'm just trying to put it into like a quick term for new players, like
simple weapons and martial weapons.
Yeah.
In your basic proficiencies, and then certain races, certain classes will give you proficiencies in certain weapons. Like I know elves offhand aren't like you can be proficient with whatever your class gives you, but being an elf, you're naturally proficient with longbows, rapiers, and short swords, I believe.
Because they're trained in elven fighting.
Correct. That's just from their lore, and that's what you get from that racial.
Yes, okay. Cool. So now we've gone over proficiency bonus, we've gone over your ability scores, we've gone over the different types of abilities. What do you look for when what's next on the agenda after those for character creation? Just putting the stuff on a sheet and then kind of picking out your description and how you want to play that character, or do we have to like go more in depth here?
Well, it with your background, you get your bonds, your flaws. It all depends on how adept you are to role playing. Not a lot of people are, so commend it. Thanks for playing. Absolutely, please play some more. You'll grow to love it. The bonds, the flaws, the traits, and the ideals, those things kind of like dictate how you play. Like, I know I had to play a wizard who used to talk very slowly when he thought people were dumber than him.
Right.
So I had to play that to a T, and if the characters knew me, I'm probably pissing them off. If they didn't, then they probably think that I'm just weird.
Gotcha.
It's all invested on how much you want to roleplay it, really, because you don't have to go with what your background says. You can write things in there, like your bond could be the party. Like you don't have to say, "Oh, my hermitage is this important." You could be like, "These people we fought through, blah blah blah," and give yourself a shared campaign, a shared background, and makes things so much easier for your DM. But that's less on that. Typically, when I pick my class, though, I'm picking something that I can flavor, like my attacks, my spells, so it's more personal, as opposed to I see a bunch of dudes and I'm going to cast Fireball. Like to throw in that, I shoot out that red scorching ray as it sears across the sky, stops, and then detonates.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So with that, I think we've gotten over some character building in a nutshell. What do you think?
I would like to think so.
All right, let's talk about some D&D vocab then. What did you bring this week for vocabulary?
I brought passive perception or passive traits.
Okay, let me pull up the character sheet so we can see what we're talking about here.
Because this will also go into your proficiencies that we were talking about.
Right, it's not showing up on the screen. Let me get the character sheet working here.
No technical difficulties.
There we go. We're good. Right. We're up. All right, so passive perception on your character sheet here is actually down here on the bottom, right above your other proficiencies and languages. Passive perception right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's explain that.
So passive perception is a tricky mistress. Experienced DMs, if If they know what they're doing and you don't ask for a perception check and they have your passive, they're going by that. Your passive perception is a base of 10 plus your wisdom modifier, because wisdom is your perceptive trait. If you are proficient in the perception trait, you will get your proficiency bonus. So let's say you have a wisdom of 11, which is a base of a 0 for a modifier. You would have a 10 for your passive perception. So unless you're asking, can I make a perception check? Does anything look fishy? Can I like flavor it some way so I'm not just saying, can I make a perception check? Your DM will say, sure, you can certainly try, have you roll dice, and then you'll actually have an actual perception score wherein your character is not looking around and being
right. It's not active. It's
Right.
it's there. That's something. In everyday life, you can perceive things off in your peripherals, or you hear something behind you, but that doesn't mean you necessarily heard it actively. This is something that, like, you're not like you hear a scratch in the wall. That's a passive perception. Then you're actively looking for where that scratch is coming from. Then you realize that you have rats or something.
It's the dichotomy of walking through a neighborhood and then just putting the time on it. Like, you can walk through a neighborhood at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're not really on your guard. Whereas you could walk through that same neighborhood at
3 a.m.
2 o'clock in the morning, and you're
actively looking around, not
Exactly.
All right, so we have actually our first question from Fuzzrab, and it's kind of going off the ability scores we talked about earlier. Do you get a set number of points to assign to your abilities?
There's
I think 3 options, like three good options.
There are 2 options.
2 book options, one DM option.
Yeah. There's multiple DMs options.
There's one DM option. You get your standard set of ability scores, which would be
15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8.
Yes. And you get to put those wherever you like, depending on what kind of character you're picking. The other option is the point buy. You get a specific number of points, and you can buy. You get money, and those money buys the points, and you put them where you need them. That's really convoluted. It's in the book. You can figure it out on your own if you want to do that. And then there's the DM. And then there's the DM ability score thing where you roll 3d6, and that's your abilities, or you roll 4d6 and minus the worst.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No. But those are 2 DM options. That's how you would get your assigned ability points. All right, so we've done passive perception. I'm going to bring initiative to the board. Vocab, D&D vocab, roll for initiative. So you may hear your DM say roll for initiative. That either means you're going to fight something, or you're about to do a skill challenge. Initiative means where you go in the round. If you're very fast and dexterous, you will probably have a high initiative modifier. That's what the initiative is based off of. It is an ability check. And so if you have a high dex, a +3, you get +3 to your initiative. If you're a rogue, I'm pretty sure you get a initiative like bonus. A jack of all trades, you get like...
Oh, that's a bard.
Or bard, yeah. Later on, you get an initiative bonus later on. And then so there's few things that can get your initiative up. I think there's a trait, a feat, I mean. And then... So basically, it's where you'll go in the round. When the DM puts the round together, you'll roll your d20 and you'll add your initiative bonus, and that's what you get for your round. If you roll a 15, you'll be closer to the top. You roll low, you'll be closer to the bottom. And like I said, if you're a faster character, you have a better shot at getting a good initiative. You have anything you add to that?
Yes, if you're making a character and your DM allows you to take feats, you should take the alert feat.
Yes. Or at least wait till you can.
Yes. I know the alert.
It's one of those. It's not a broken feat, but it's close.
It's a plus 5 to your.
It's real close.
It's a plus 5 to your initiative. It's the fact that you can't be surprised. That's where it's like, all right, this might be a little broken, but we'll talk about conditions in like a later video, a later podcast.
All right, we're past our D&D vocab segment. We're going to talk about a couple of past experiences in character building. Give me your favorite experience building a character.
Well, to be honest with you, the first character that I really built in 5e, I'm not going to count Kador as much as I loved being the drow rock star.
He was kind of more of a DM PC than he was
Well, he started off at level 5.
Yeah, but he was also... Yeah. He was a player character, and then you took over the game, and he kind of just had to become a DMPC there.
Yeah.
To make the game work.
Yeah. Barondir. Barondir was probably one of my favorite characters to build because it was the first time I ever played a monk in D&D. 1, 2. I thought about... I'm a big wrestling fan, so I was like, I can certainly, if I ever get a how do you want to do this, I'm a clothesline from hell, choke slam, knee to face people. Like, that was why I did it. And the funny thing is, for me to roll this trait and then stay to it for probably like the 4 weeks that I did, I rolled the trait where I don't talk a lot. We're gonna pause and let that sink in. I didn't talk for like 4 weeks. I just grunted.
I remember
Eventually,
that.
I turned into Drax.
Yeah, you were basically Drax. Yep.
I was Drax the Destroyer, but ridiculousness.
Tattoo on your face.
Yeah.
I forgot about that tattoo.
We need to get disguises. So, let's
better disguise than to tattoo your whole face.
Yep. The purpose of a disguise is you can take it off. Well.
Hey, did you see that guy with the tattooed face? Yeah, he just came through town like 2 days ago.
Yep.
That's so
I love
good.
Barondir. Barondir was such a fun character to play. It taught me that monks are squishy.
Uh-huh.
I had a blast building Kristrid Fromtaggard until you murdered her.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, mine is obviously going to be Alston Jabble Tarkleby.
Yeah!
My favorite character I've ever played has been Alston Jabble Strongfoot World. What was it? Cursebreaker Tarkleby. So I normally play small characters first off, which is the funny thing. Like I'm a tall dude. I play short characters. I play a gnome paladin of the old ones, of the ancients, who loved just the beauty of the world. He would go and explore jungles and forests just because he loved trees and flowers, and he heard of this magical island that had beautiful flowers and animals the size of buildings, and they're magnificent, and there's so many fun things to go along with it. And he's like, yes, I'm going to this place, and it was all bad news from there. He got it. He went to Chult, which is one of the more scary places to ever be in the Forgotten Realms, and he became a hero in front of everybody. He was a hero of ages, and he even made it. He got to even be friends with Barondir. Yep, which is great. What a great little friendship that was spawned.
Let's not forget you had a talking Stegosaurus.
Yeah, let's not forget you had a talking stick.
It was like the same voice, too, that we both did. Ooh, that's strong.
So, yeah, that was my favorite character creation that I've ever done.
Not gonna lie, that was my favorite player character to DM for, because you knew I was fucking with you and you couldn't.
I couldn't do anything. I wasn't smart. I was smart enough to figure it out. I just didn't roll well, so I had to roll with I had to literally roll with the punches.
Yep.
All right.
For everyone who doesn't know, wait, I have to explain Chult for a second. If you don't know, Chult has fucking dinosaurs, and the flowers will eat you.
Yes.
Yeah, desk.
Vandal misses desk. I miss beans.
I'm his beans.
So that's going to bring us to our first break. So I hope you enjoy our Dysfunctional Gaming cartoons and commercials. Bye.
Get your bowl of cereal.
Tonight's episode of Tips, brought to you by Candle Bin, from the makers of Candle Sync. The Candle Bin. Are you constantly wondering, where should I keep my lit candles? Are you constantly just leaving them in strange places? And then wondering, hey, where did I put that candle? Well, now we've got a solution for you. It's the Candle Bin. Let's see what real-life people have to say about the Candle Bin.
Before I got the Candle Bin, I used to just throw them anywhere. But apparently that starts fires. You could get in a lot of trouble for that. So now that I have the Candle Bin, I don't do so much time in prison. It's great. Thanks, Candle Bin.
Thanks to the Candle Bin, I have the perfect place to put all my candles. Just last year, I raised the Yankee Candle Company's profits by over 8 figures. Autumn Leaves, Lilac Blossom, Apple Pumpkin, I have them all, man, all of them. And now they have a home. Thank you, Candle Bin.
With the Candle Bin, you can use lit candles, big candles, short candles, even ritual sacrifice candles. It all fits! Millions of Americans have already discovered the many uses for the Candle Bin.
Since buying the Candle Bin, my sex life has never been better. I'm telling you, fellas, you gotta get this quality product. Your PP will thank you. And, your wife will do that kinky shit she said she'd never do. I do it with clothes on.
See what Candle Bin can do for you. Thanks to the Candle Bin, I can buy rent. For only 13 easy payments of $19.99, you can get the Candle Bin. But that's not all. If you call in the next 10 minutes, you can get a lighter absolutely free. Also brought to you by Sport for Men. It's a damn good spray. Are you sick of your children jumping on the bed? Have you told them over and over again to stop? Are you ready to drown them in the pool?
Yeah.
Well, now we've got a solution for you. Introducing the No Jump Bed. Hey, how'd you get up there? With the new standing headboard feature, you can even stand taller than you've ever stood before.
Why can't I jump on this bed?
Aww. No fair, Daddy. No fair.
You can not jump on it. And that's what makes it good.
Wow, that's amazing. But how much is it?
Funny you should ask. It's only 72 easy payments of $132.63.
Did you say 72 payments of $132.36?
No, you fucking idiot. Go back in the closet. I said 72 easy payments of $132.63.
Wow, that's amazing.
Find out what No Jump Bed can do for you.
Yeehaw! Let's peg each other.
Quality standing. Quality standing.
Can I get paid now?
Oh, hey! I hoped you hadn't seen me here because this is my new product, the People at 5,000. I was trying to get some pictures of the couple that I sold the No Jump Bed to because, you know, it's a really solid laying machine. It's not really a machine, it's actually just a rock with some sheets on it. Well, I originally designed it so that kids would stop jumping on the bed because fuck, that's annoying. It's basically just a rock, but it's comfortable, I guess.
Hey, what the fuck are you doing on my property? This is the 5th time I'm calling the police.
Oh, that's the long arm of the law. Gotta go.
Tonight's episode of Tips, brought to you by...
All right, and we're back. Welcome back.
I need
All
a
right,
candle
so-
bin.
I bought one of those no jump beds.
You did? How is it?
Yeah, it's awful.
Ah,
I
nice.
can't jump. I
Is
can't
it
jump
good
on
wall
it.
with a rock pillow?
I can't jump on it.
You can't jump on it? How about rock pillow?
Well, I can't wait to see the train away.
Train away?
You found one
wait, I'll
outside
wait.
once?
Yeah. Well, wait.
All right, what's up? Okay, so we're back. We're gonna talk about a little D&D lore. We're gonna talk about 2 elders, if you will. They are patrons for the Warlock, and we're going to go over that because we're doing a Warlock this week. So let's get into it. Who'd you bring to the table?
Me? Oh, I'd love to tell you, but you don't dare speak his name, for he is Haster, the King in Yellow, the Unspeakable. The half-brother of Cthulhu is very much awake. Haster is constantly aware of the world and the things around him, and he is a jealous god. So much to the point that he's been called the Unspeakable by those who know of him, but not many do. It is said that to summon him, all one needs to do is speak his name. Haster is always listening, and there's at least a 50% chance he'll appear to those who say his name in his humanoid avatar. Haster is a god of the far realm, but unlike the rest of his kind, he is more of a muse than a destroyer. It is said that some of the greatest stories ever written were inspired by Haster by those who knew the darkness and its wicked ways. Haster presents a special kind of challenge. If knowledge is power, none know more than the King in Yellow if the stories are to be believed.
Cool. Sounds wicked creepy. All right.
Sounds like Brandon being in the Crow.
Oh, I got like chills thinking about it. Now I'm looking at the picture of the guy I'm doing it. It's just as creepy. All right. We're talking about Zargon. Zargon the Returner. Zargon is an elder evil of unknowable origin. They say was, but I don't believe it. An eldritch abomination entombed under the ruins of a fallen city for his vile ways. The devourer in the depths demanded his endless voracity, be sated, and if freed, would try to conquer the world and drown it in torrents of slime. Known as the invincible tyrant for his indestructibility, even the ancient immortals could only trap him, for even if killed, Zargon always returned.
Wait. So they trapped him in something, you can't kill him, and he always returns?
Yes.
Yo, it's Vigo the Carpathian. He is the Ghostbusters too. All right, I'm done. All right. Boom.
Let me explain what he looks like real quick, just so you can get an idea. So he looks like he has like a narwhal like spike on his head. He has one eye in the middle. His head's like looks like alien almost, and its mouth is like a beholder.
What's a beholder?
A beholder is, I can't go into that right now.
Okay.
He has teeth. He has a teeth maw. Like it looks like this. It's just big and huge. And then his arms are just tentacle like ropes with hooks on them. And the rest of his torso and body is like hairy and like rocky, and then wood, and then it like spirals down into like a tree trunk, and he like slimes across the like ground. And he can be up to like 30. He could be up to like 35 feet tall.
See, that's the terrifying evil.
Oh, and he could be down to 15 feet tall too. He could just be like, "I'm little now."
Yeah, 15 feet tall is not that tall. That's like comparing. That's like a house compared.
It's
to
a it's a little. It's a what's it called? A half giant maybe, or a stone giant. They're about that big. So yeah, that's Zargon. He's kind of menacing, and if you'd like to know more, there's plenty on the Forgotten Realms wiki.
I would certainly, if you go to the Forgotten Realms wiki or dndwiki.com, that is where I am, because that has a lot of like old school D&D stuff. Like that's where I got because Haster, I don't know how to pronounce it. I like Haster.
I think it's Haster.
But he's like that. Like, you go see that dark movie and you're like, wow, this hits me in that really, really that place that I don't want it to hit, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's him.
Yep. That creepy, like, it makes you think about your sanity. Like, that's how creepy they are. Like, you're like, am I really seeing this right now? Or
yep.
Now that's the fun part, because those things are the things that warlocks say, hey, I would love some power from you.
The type of things. There are many types of things. So
right, but those are two of the types of things that you could say, hey, I want power from this person. Which brings us into our creation zone. We gotta kind of make this quick. Let's get over to the character sheet.
We started late.
Yeah, we did.
We're making this character.
All right. What are we doing for our strengths? Well, first off, do we have a name?
First of all, we're choosing a race.
Oh, yes, that's right. Let me write that in. Race.
So, everybody typically makes a tiefling warlock.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Exactly. Let's do half elf.
Okay.
Half elf
sounds good.
What do we want to get the?
What do we want? What?
The +1. You want to put it in our con?
I was thinking con. I looked right at con.
It's always a good thing to put in your con.
All right,
because you don't I think our dump stat should be our intelligence, because we're talking to a god that's in our head.
Sounds good.
For those of you who don't know what a dump stat is, that's your bad stat. It's fun to roleplay a bad stat. I like
gnome. Vandal says gnome.
Vandal says gnome.
Gnome warlock.
We could do a gnome lock.
I don't mind that at all.
I mean, I don't mind it, but everything that I have is already.
Hey, hey, you know what? We'll take one from the audience. I told you this was going to happen, so
I knew it was going to happen.
Let's go for it.
Type of gnome, Vandal.
Kind of gnome. Rock gnome. Forest gnome.
No, because the other one gives you the is the tinkerer, right?
Umlaut says gnome. Absolutely.
See, Rob, I love you to death, Rob. We didn't have a gnome in the whole game. Yes, we're doing a gnome. We're gonna be
because we're gonna have a human, right?
Yes, we were gonna have a half elf. Guess what? They are going to be a forest gnome.
Forest gnome.
Yep. It's decided.
It has been decided. We have Warlock.
Right. So our intelligence goes up by a +2. And our dex goes up by a +1.
All right, let's erase those. 1. Yep.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, boys.
We now know minor.
Let's make them.
I'll write that down for later. Here's something that is weird because we're gnomes. We can now talk to small animals. We can talk to squirrels, badgers, rabbits, moles, woodpeckers, anything that's small or smaller.
Speak to small animals.
Yep. All right. So the class.
Warlock 1.
Warlock. I'm gonna switch.
Background. We doing hermit? Are we doing someone that's been by themselves? Is that why they went crazy in the forest?
Well, there could be a hermitage.
They could.
It's up to you. I mean,
what's the other one? The Outlander one?
The Outlander. Let me look. Well,
Isn't that or what? That's the one where they like travel on their own, right?
Yep. And they're proficient with a musical instrument.
Ooh, that would be
good with
funny.
Let's do it. Let's do Outlander.
Okay, Outlander.
You grew up in the wilds, far from civilization, comforts from town technology. But
That's why you can speak to small animals.
There you go.
Not just because you're a gnome. Well, a gnome helped.
You're the gnome that lives outside of Candlekeep.
Okay. All right. So now we want to put our stats. We have our background. So what do we get? With the background, what do we get for skills?
So skills, we are proficient in athletics and survival.
Okay. And then with class and race, with class we get skills, right?
Well, first we also get tool proficiencies as well.
I just want to fill out the skills real quick.
Yep. Oh, so skills. So we get athletics and survival from Outlander. Let me switch back over to that page. Shoop. Our skills. We have Arcana,
Arcana. Yep.
Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. So, from that list, and from the +2 intelligence that we get, I kind of want to do...
Well, he's a book guy. We could do history.
We could do history, yeah. History, and then...
Arcana. He's learned. Arcana and history. Int.
Let's do investigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of searching for books. He's probably good at looking for stuff.
Absolutely. You got to know that Dewey Decimal System. That shit's hard. There's numbers and dots. There's no dots in D&D.
So we have our skills. Let's do our ability scores now. We're going book skills. We're
a warlock.
So 15 is
don't now have
charisma.
Charisma. So the 15 is going into charisma.
Correct. In the book, they tell you that...
Speaking to the mic.
Hold on.
Oh, you're looking at the quick build?
In the quick build, they tell you to use Constitution second.
Of course they should.
So that will be 14.
Yeah.
All right, so now the rest is just what we want. Do we want him to be more nimble? Do we want him to be...
First, you know how I make a character, right? There, Thundy.
15. Intelligence gets the +13, the 13 +2 to make it 15.
Where's the dump stat going?
The dump stat is going to be strength or wisdom.
All right, chat. Are we going to be weak or are we going to be unwise?
Because dexterity should get the 12
to make it a 3.
To make it a 13.
Wisdom
of the ancients.
That's 2.
Weak. Fuzzrab says weak.
Boom.
All right, so wisdom gets 10.
Yep.
Strength gets 8, which makes that -1. Numbers right. I always forget the numbers. What are the next numbers? What's 13?
13 is a
+1.
1. Yeah.
Constitution 14 is +2. Intelligence is 15 +2.
Yep.
Wisdom is 0. Your charisma is +2.
Yep. We're actually not a bad warlock. We're
All
kind
right,
of
so
we're kind of well.
Let's get our proficiencies right here now. Get
All
these
right, so our
proficiencies.
proficiency bonus at level 1.
+2, right?
Yes, so you do the skills. I'm going to address Dysfunctional Dad. In later books, there is a Hexblade Warlock where you can put into your dex and become dexterous and have an AC, but you still hit with your charisma. You don't need to be strong, but if you're trying to bust down a door, it helps. Or climb down a well. If you're not a warlock with wings.
Mm-hmm. All right, wisdom and charisma are my saving throws.
Yep.
All right,
I'm sorry. I'm on that.
Nope, you're good. You're fine. -1. Dexterity is +1. +2. Intelligence. Wisdom. 0. +2. +2. Charisma is +2, +2, +4.
Hey, Cthulhu, pop that door open, will you, bro? Yeah, that's... well, I mean, you can certainly ask him to. You can certainly try. I don't recommend contacting another plane to ask...
Thanks, Didi.
But yeah, no, I played a couple of... I played a wizard who is a devout patron to Cthulhu and was knowing about it and liked to talk about it. And then the Sunday, the UK D&D game that we played, that Umlau played in, I played a Bob Rosslock. I talked a little bit like this. People couldn't hear me, though, because I didn't have a good microphone. But now I do. And I was a patron to Cthulhu, and then it changed to fit the story because it helped. We actually just finished up that campaign. That's always a good feeling. I don't know. I know Thundercats wrapped up a campaign. I know I've wrapped up campaigns.
I've DM'd one that I finished, and I've played in one that was finished.
Yep. It's always a good feeling to have closure.
What's the speed of a gnome?
Speed of a gnome is 25 feet.
Yeah, +1.
Yeah, he was a Yanti too, which was great.
+2, okay. And then, all right. Speed is 25. All right. What do we want to do for an alignment?
To fit the story that we're going to be writing with this character?
I think it'd be good. I think, well, so...
Typically, gnomes are usually good.
Right. And typically, there's some sort of... It's not necessarily lawful for, like, the... It's not necessarily lawful for the elders, the great ones, they're normally kind of lawful. There's some sort of plan they follow. It's not a chaotic. You know what I mean?
Evil.
Right.
Yeah.
And so was Zargon. They were both lawful evil. So like they have some sort of law there. So maybe a lawful neutral. That's what I was thinking. Lawful neutral. That's so funny.
Agreeing to a god giving you gifts is kind of a...
It's not...
It all depends on if they know who the god is.
Right. I mean, maybe they just went kind of crazy and thought they were hearing voices, and they just finally were like, fine, I'll take it.
Stop? Yes. Shut up.
Yes. So we'll make them lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral forest gnome.
Yep. Forest gnome warlock.
Yep. Well, we're also level 1, my friend, so we have things to pick.
Yes. Let's go.
So, at level 1, you get to pick your patron. This is the person that gave you power. There are a lot of them. We're just going vanilla to keep it short and sweet. There is the Archfey, which are a lord or lady of the Fey, which is natural beauty. Think like every national park as one giant world. However, some places your emotions can make things that might try to kill you. And there are these beings of obscene power who do what they want. They're kind of fun. There's the Fiend, which is your typical devil or demon. Always a cool loaded gun to hand your DM. But my favorite loaded gun is the big old shotgun, which is the great old one, which is kind of fitting the Dysfunctional Gaming theme, because we got the big old elder god sitting above us.
The great old one it is.
Boom.
Let's go. Let's go.
At level 1, we now always know dissonant whispers and Tasha's hideous laughter.
All
Cool.
right.
I can fuck with people psychically.
Always. Tasha's hideous laughter.
Yep.
Hideous. There we go. And what was the other one? Dissonant whispers?
Yes, sir.
You want to talk about those two real quick?
Oh, I'll talk about those when we pick more spells.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I put that into
We
the
also
character
get
sheet.
something for being a patron to the Elder God.
What's that?
We have something called Awakened Mind. At first level, your alien knowledge gives you the ability to touch minds of other creatures. Any creature you see within 30 feet of you, you can talk to in its brain. You can speak to telepathically. You don't need to share a language, and it must be able to understand a language to hear you. So, yes.
30 feet, talk telepathically. Got it. Awaken mind.
Yep.
Put it in.
Boom. There we are. I think that's all we get at level 1 for that. Now we're into pack magic. All right.
One quick thing.
on.
We talked about initiative earlier. You don't get your proficiency bonus on initiative unless
Okay.
it says so in your class or in a feat.
Something will alter it.
Yes. So because our dexterity is 1, our initiative will be +1. That's all I wanted to say.
Perfect. So, we know 2 cantrips of your choice from the Warlock spell list. And then as we get higher level, we learn more. So the next time we learn one is at level 4. So at level 1, the first 2 cantrips you're going to take. 1 is your Warlock bread and butter. It's fucking Eldritch Blast. It's amazing. Always take it when you're a Warlock. If you have the ability to take it as any other class, take it. It's 1d10 worth of damage when you shoot something and do finger guns. Pew, 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 pew. The
Or
best
you could
part
do
is
it. Or you could do it. You could do it from your knees or your feet, or however you want.
the sweet spot is you don't need to see the creature. It just needs to be within 120 feet of you. But we'll talk more about spells and read as written in later episodes. Second cantrip will be Mage Hand. So you can interact and not have to use your hands. So I want to write a book, but I want to still stand and talk and gesticulate.
Yep.
And then for spells, I believe I picked offhand Hellish Rebuke, which is a reaction. So if something hits me, I can spend a spell slot and it takes
Make
damage.
it have fire, or
Mhm.
can you do different depending on the DM? You can ask.
It depends. You can make it look like anything.
Right, but you could use it as a, like, I could say a tiefling gets it automatically. Mine's a blue tiefling, so I want it to be ice damage. I'd ask my DM and say, hey, could it be ice damage instead of fire damage?
Like cold? Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
depends
yeah,
on your DM. That's DM episode though. That's where we.
Hellish Rebuke.
That's where we debate yes to no.
And what was the other one?
Comprehend languages.
Oh, cool. That makes sense for this guy.
Yeah, the book guy. Because I thought about it. I'm like, if you find a book that you can't read and you like to read, I can just touch myself or ritual cast it, and then just be able to read every language I touch.
I like it.
And now
I like
I
it.
already also know Dissonant Whispers. The only downfall is I only have 1 spell slot. So I know 4 spells, but I can only
Right.
cast 1 of them.
Right.
But since I'm not a spell caster and I have packed magic, when I take a quick hour power nap,
You get
I
it
get my
back.
spell slot. And that continues.
Cool. Now let's talk about his passive perception, which is now his perception's a 2. He doesn't have a proficiency bonus on it.
So it would be a 12. His passive
10
would be a 12.
10 plus perception, right?
Yep.
Cool. So there you go. That was one of the other D&D vocab words we did earlier.
All right.
All right. Let's talk about hit points.
Hit points. So, level 1, it's going to be quick and easy. You get your hit die, your full hit die. So, as a warlock, you have a D8. That's the one that looks like 2 pyramids.
8.
And
Or
you get the
a
maximum
diamond.
Of that, or a diamond. You get the maximum of that
Plus your
your
con.
Constitution modifier.
So that would make us +2, so a 10.
Yes, so as a warlock, we have 10 HP, which isn't so bad.
Actually, it's not bad.
No, however, we'll get into equipment in a second. But as you level up, you can either take the base, which is half of the hit die. So ours is a D8. It would be a 4, but you round it up to 5 because Wizards is generous. Thank you, Wizards. Yep. We pray to you. And then you add your con mire, or you can be a complete and absolute crazy person and roll the die and take whatever it takes.
Yeah, depending on what you play, you have better chances with bigger, burlier people. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's. We got our hit point max in. We have that max, and then all right, let's talk about proficiencies and languages.
All right, so as a gnome, we speak Common and Gnome, I believe. Let me look.
Yep.
I don't, and let me look here. Forest Gnome, nothing. Languages, Common and Gnomon. We also have one language of our choice from our Hermitage.
Okay. What would the great old one speak? Deep. So I'm thinking that's probably
deep. Yep. There are, for the D&D novices that are watching, thank you for watching and bearing with us as we kind of share our shared D&D experiences. But deep speech is something that not a lot of things speak, and if you speak deep, you probably don't talk to it for very long because the things on my shirt speak deep. Beholders speak deep, and typically elder gods speak deep. Nasty shit.
Also, like liches.
Well, yes, that's because they know everything.
But it's still really scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, liches get stitches. You're right.
Yes, they do.
Unless they're cool ones, because I played it as a wizard and I met a really cool lich when I was playing a wizard. My barbarian knew deep speech and said something to it in deep speech, and we talked to it and hung out with it, and it didn't kill us because we brought in ghouls to eat.
Awesome.
It is a mind flayer, yes.
So
there is a mind flayer on his shirt. That's right.
I love mind flayers. It's probably one of my favorite.
Well, it's funny because we're going to have this in an audio format too. So you were like, the thing on my shirt, and we didn't actually say what was on your shirt.
Yeah, Vandal Skinny Pete, my man. He had a name, but I called him Skinny Pete.
He was our best bud because he was mind washed. Once we brought his mind back, if we had brought his mind back, we never did.
Fuck that.
All right.
Equipment. Are you reading that question? Because I'm reading that question too.
Yes. Why don't you read it out loud?
For DMs, should your PC's backstory explain chosen languages? For example, should a rogue thief teenager at level 1 or the low int be able to speak Celestial, for example, with no reason story other than class and background allows it? Honestly, I'm gonna be 100% real with you. It's up to you as the DM.
I could roll with it.
I could roll with it. I really don't.
Because you can have a reason why. There's always a way to figure something out, and you can work with your DM to get that across. Kind of like I said with the Hellish Rebuke thing. Like if you want to pick Celestial, give me a reason why. Like you fell asleep and some Celestial talked in your mind, and you retained that information somehow because it's a Celestial and they can do that. It's almost like you could even maybe change your rogue as your level up to be more of a paladin or a warlock, and actually take a class in warlock and be like, yeah, I'm using my celestial knowledge to be a warlock now. That's my patron. Or I'm gonna do the rogue thing and keep going rogue, but this celestial, I'm gonna start believing in this god. There's ways to get around it and work it together.
As a DM though, like if you have a player who does that, you could always be like, "Hey, why'd you pick that?" And they just go, "I don't know," and then be like, "Hey, could I like try to find a way to fit like my narrative?"
Yeah,
Like-
maybe it will fit in later in the game.
That's
Yep.
It's the player DM relationship that we're definitely going to talk about because I wanted to talk a little bit about it, but that's a whole episode.
We could do 8 hours literally just sitting here talking about
Period.
D&D. So we have to try to keep as much as we can together here. All right, back to language. Do we have any more? We only get that one from Hermitage, right?
And it's deep.
Oh, I mean, it's not Hermitage, it's Outlander.
Whatever. Wait, let me look. Now I
Yeah,
have to
make
look
sure.
again.
It's still deep if it is one.
Yeah, oh yeah. Outlander languages, one of your choice. We get deep.
Okay. What other proficiencies do we get?
A musical instrument.
Okay.
That's it. Wait,
What do we want to do? What do we want to use for a musical? A drum? A little drum?
Drum. I like it.
Okay, and then for weapons,
All right, so starting equipment,
armor.
what we get for being a warlock, we can either take a simple weapon or a light crossbow.
Oh,
and
sorry,
simple-
we're proficient though in light armor and simple weapons.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Light armor and simple weapons. Cool. Now we can talk about what we want for our starting.
So we have range with Eldritch Blast, which is 120 feet. I don't think we need a light crossbow and 20 bolts. I would rather have something that stabs something if we're real close.
All right.
You want to take a dagger?
Sure. I think that will work. Be
And
kind
then
of like a sneaky dagger he got, and that's it.
Yep. Something to
Okay.
defend himself while he's protecting the books.
Dagger, and his attack bonus would be with dexterity plus his proficiency because he's proficient in it. So he'd get
Correct.
a +3. That's a 1d4 damage plus
Piercing.
his dexterity. Yep, plus his dexterity, which is
Yep.
+1. That's piercing. Okay.
All right.
Second is a component pouch or an arcane focus.
Now, this really is just for flavor. Do you
Right,
want
until you use the actual components that cost money that get used.
exactly?
I think
So
for his
the librarian,
he's got to have a pouch.
I want a components pouch.
Yeah, he's got to
Yeah.
have the pouch.
Absolutely.
He's got to have the pouch.
Pack everything that's got it. Oh no, it's a sachet. He keeps his books on it, and then it's got like these little vials. And
It's one of the across man pouches.
Yeah, and they're not even. It's not in alphabetical order. It's Dewey Decimal.
Yeah, everything's by numbers.
Perfect.
Okay. He gets a
next-
scholar's pack or a dungeoneer's pack. I think we need to do. I like the scholar's pack, but he travels. He's an outlander. He needs it.
He's an outlander only because he has to be.
Okay, scholar's pack. I'll give it to you. Component pouch for the win. Thank you, Umlaut.
I know. Yeah, damn right, Rob.
Scholars pack. You want to tell me what's actually in a scholar's pack?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
We'll go over that in equipment in a later day.
Yeah, we'll do equipment
Ridiculous.
next game. Next session.
Like I could spend an hour going through the packs alone.
Okay. And then last but not least,
We have
leather
our
armor,
leather
any simp, and 2 daggers. Wait, so he
Yep,
gets all that anyways?
Yep.
So he's got 2 daggers so he's got 3 daggers.
Yep. So he's got 1 dagger that he only stabs with, and then his 2 throwing daggers and his big book stick.
Or the one that he stabs with is also his like letter opener.
Yes. Perfect. I like it. Yes, I got a new book. We're so fucking
Leather armor and 2
So that would make him-
throwing daggers.
his AC would be a 13 or 12.
What is it? It's 11 plus
Their
dex?
armor is 11 or 12.
Gotta look.
Hang on, I gotta look. It's been a while.
11 plus dex. So it's a
Thank
12.
you.
So his armor class is 12.
Kind of squishy.
All right.
Alright.
So,
And
I think we should stop there with the character creation. His background, personality traits, and stuff. He doesn't get anything else, right? He just gets his pact magic.
No, that's all
No,
he gets at level 1.
He gets He gets the otherworldly patron. That's it. No, and pact magic. He gets pact magic too. He's got to write it in.
Okay.
Okay.
He's showing the character sheet.
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
All right. 'Cause we need a name.
Yeah, we just need a name now, guys.
Do you guys want to name our forest gnome great old one?
All right, so we need a name that is gnomish. I don't want to kind of stick with it. I don't want to go crazy.
I'm sorry.
You know, like
Thundercat. We have Xanathars. You have the book. Is it
I
downstairs?
do have.
or-
I have it right here.
Perfect. I got dice.
You want to
We are
roll?
prepared, sir. We're gonna leave this to fate. We're gonna be dysfunctional and chaotic.
Yeah, I like it. All right, gnomish names. Let's find gnomish names here. English,
Female name.
Celtic, female.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had
like
an
it.
idea for. So in my head, this female gnome, she's kind of got like a brownish red wild hair, kind of like.
Hold
Brave,
on. Well,
but-
wait. That's going to be story time.
Okay. All right. We'll give her a name.
All right. Roll me a D100.
All right. D100. Come on, Wormwood dice.
Those
I
are
got a
two tens is a D100. What'd you roll? A 13?
Yep.
That's my favorite number.
Ah, nice. Not 31.
Nope. Her name is Carlin.
Carlin, like George, or with a
Carlin.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's write that up there. Hold on.
I got my dice ready.
All right, we have a gnome clan name, another 100.
Okay. 97.
Carlin Welber.
Carlin
Welber.
Welber.
Tomekeeper.
Tomekeeper.
That's the beginning of.
names.
Yep. That's her first nickname.
Either Tomekeeper or Bookmark.
I like Tomekeeper because it kind of rolls. Carlin Tomekeeper Welber.
There we go.
Tomekeeper Welber. Because a lot of people just call her Tomekeeper Welber. They don't even use her first name.
That's perfect. It's also a title.
Yep. That's why they get their That's how they get their nickname. It's kind of Furbolgish, if you will. All right.
Not cows.
So we have our name, we have our character created, other than the background, which is going to be kind of coming up in the story here. Let's move on to our next part, which is going to be Storytime Stanza.
All right.
So this is where we're going to put together our ideas and make a small paragraph about our character and where she's come from, where she's going, and then we put together next week we're going to add on to more of the story, but it will be more of from a DM's perspective, where we'll probably go over her town or where she's from more instead of going over her background. So, Patch, what do you got? Anything?
Right.
I saw you holding the. I saw you're trying to feed me. Trying to feed me some. Okay. What does she look like?
Carlin's about 3'2". She's got very rosy cheeks, kind of a bulbous nose, but like pointed at the same time. Like it's fat, but it's got a defined point. She's got very like light greenish blue eyes. Very brown, red, wild hair. However, when she can tie it back when she goes into Candlekeep, she doesn't really dress extravagantly.
Is her wild red hair like what's it? Brave? Is that the Disney movie? Like it's just
it's kind of like that, but
she puts it back when she like ties it up when she needs to.
Yeah, think of like a librarian with like frizzy hair. But
like she doesn't wash it. It hasn't been washed. It's just okay.
She's got a very like, she's always like gesticulating and counting for some strange, like she's very handsy.
But when she's counting, it seems like she's not doing the counting. It seems like someone else is doing the counting. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like she's there, like, she's with you, she's paying attention to you, but there's something else doing the work for her.
Yeah, I get you.
Kind of mindless.
Kind of got like a very very dulcet tone for a gnome, but
yeah, she's not as exciting.
Like, not as very energetic as most.
Yeah.
I'm a little brought down. I do live next to Candlekeep, so I do have to keep it at a certain volume. Yeah. That's what I've got.
All right, I like it.
She walks with her quarterstaff.
So she has a quarterstaff? Well, she gets a walking stick from her Outlander, right?
Mm-hmm. She walks with her quarterstick, but her walking stick's on her back.
Oh, so she has a staff too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get two simple weapons and 2 daggers.
Oh, that's right. So that's right. I didn't write that in. And quarterstaff. That's also dexterity based, right?
Mm-hmm. It's also a versatile weapon, so you could use it one-handed or two-handed. Or one-handed or two-handed, but that's a different story.
1d6 or... Cool.
And to address that, Fuzzrab, you get what you put into D&D character creation. So I like to put in what my character looks like so other people can get like into that mindset of things. Like when a DM asks you, how do you want to do this? And you describe that killing blow, like I want to punch that dragon in the face as hard as I can with my bare fucking hand.
So so yes, you're right. You have it's as much as you put in, and if you put in a lot, the DM will put in a lot for you.
Bingo.
Well, hopefully, if you have a decent DM, we could talk about more about what she's wearing. I'm seeing like she has leather armor, but it's more of like a mix and matched hide that she's kind of hunted, I guess, because she's been Outlander. So like it looks like they're more like pelts and stuff kind of sewn together.
I like that.
But it's all underneath a large like drab brown robe that she just kind of wears to cover everything. And that's where she keeps her daggers in the side inside the armor, like on a little pouch, and then the other two on her left and right so she can toss them quickly. So brown, drab. Is it a coat or a robe?
Coat, not a robe. She's too poor for a robe.
What kind of pants does she wear? Like pantaloons? Does she wear like the little shorts that like go right below the knee? Has she got socks? Like what is she like? Does she wear long pants? Just if she has a coat, she's got to be
like hand down riding boots.
Okay.
And, hand me down like riding pants and riding boots. And then like her leather armor is just stitched on top of that.
Under the jacket.
Yeah, like she wears the jacket to like cover it all to stay warm.
Okay. Cool. I think we have a good start. I don't think there's really any need to go much further right now. I don't want to make this too long. We're at an hour and 30 minutes. And I also don't want to like get too far into creating her before we have other background stuff for her.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, okay. We're getting down to the brass tacks here. Do you want to get any plugs in?
Absolutely. If you're looking for more D&D content, you should go check out Critical Role. Is a very, very, very good one if you want to get into heavy RP, because they're really good at that. If you want to learn about the Rule of Cool, which is a very sweet tool as a DM, go watch Acquisitions Incorporated and watch Chris Perkins and Patrick Rothfuss, which is kind of like Thundercat's beard over there. And just listen to him get away with some crazy shit. And follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/GMPatchNasty. I have a mustache. It's glorious. Those are my plugs.
Also, we can throw in here. I think I have some commands I wrote. I think that's one. Nope, that's not it. Let me figure that out real quick.
Chandeliers are friends. Absolutely.
So true. All right.
Is there a clear here?
Get something working here. I'm all over the place. Don't know what I'm doing.
Trying to do shoutouts. Work on some of those tonight.
I have some stuff I did already.
Papa. Another thing that's more importantly is you should come hang out with us on New Year's Eve. We might talk more D&D. We're gonna play some games together. I want to play games with you. Thundercat wants to play games with you. She do it. Look at that.
Come play with us. New Year's Eve, baby.
Fuck 2020. Right in the face with a 40. It's crossing the line. I'm sorry. I'll bring it back.
Well, I'll just type it in there because apparently that's not going to work yet.
Oh, and the Oopsie Awards. What about the Oopsie Awards there, Thundercat?
Oh yeah, we're doing an award show. Isn't that exciting? We're gonna do a little award show where we pick out some dysfunctional gaming favorites. We enjoyed a lot of games this year, and we want to talk about how much we enjoyed them and give them rankings. So you'll see a few. But here is the thing I'm going to post right now, so we get that in there. There's our team.
There it is.
Yeah, it's the award show that 2020 deserves. You're right. I agree with that. Fuzzrob, we enjoyed having you here. We really appreciate it. Any other plugs we want to talk about? Next week, we're going to be talking from a DM's perspective more. We're going to try to do a little bit of world building for our friend here and background NPC work for her to meet. So we hope that everyone can be back here. We got Thursday is the New Year's Eve. Friday is Stay On Brand, the new podcast that's going to be coming out with Dysfunctional Gaming, where we're going to talk pop culture and everything that goes with it. And then Saturday night, we are going to be dropping our first episode of DayZ. We have made the name Zombo Force. That is the name of the show. We will be dropping a sneak peek, I believe, on Thursday night or maybe Friday before the podcast.
Where can I watch these things there, Thundercat?
All of these things will be found on Dysfunctional Gaming, TTV, on Twitch TV, whatever you want to call it. All here. Everything you see will be on this. Don't forget to press the follow. Don't forget to check out everyone else. And thank you to everyone that has.
Don't forget to follow to join the Discord. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at DysfunCGame TTV. It's hard because a lot of people took Dysfunctional Gaming. You know what? Fuck them. We're the ones that making content. They're not, dickheads. Delete your shit.
There. This fun game TTV. Oh yeah, I saw that. Not that one. Not that one.
Not that one. I have to scroll way back up.
Chat. I pressed it twice. There we go. This fun game TTV for Twitter. All right.
Yep.
You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll be back on Tuesday with more Dysfunctional Gaming, talking D&D. We appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful night. Mooches from me. Mooches from me.
Excellent.
Bye, y'all.